class at home. Hope you're doing well. We miss you. We're starting the next part of Wonder. Justin. Justin is who, class?
Her boyfriend.
Via's boyfriend. All right, ready? No one should be talking. Get cozy, get comfy, sit still, and here we go. Olivia's brother. The first time... Ah! Oh no, oh no!
What?
Ah!
An eye by itself?
Lowercase I by itself. Oh my gosh. Lowercase I by itself. All right, I'm going to try to get over it. The first time I met Olivia's little brother, I have to admit, I'm totally taken by surprise. I shouldn't be, of course. Olivia told me about his syndrome. Has even described what he looks like, but she's also talked about all the surgeries over the years, so I guess I assumed he'd be more normal looking by now. Like when a kid was born with a cleft lip and the plastic surgeon fixes it, and you can't hardly tell except for a little tiny scar above their lip. I guess I thought her brother would have some scars here or there, but not this. I definitely wasn't expecting to see a little kid in a baseball cap who's sitting in front of me right now. Actually, there are two kids sitting in front of me, and one is totally normal looking, with curly blonde hair, named Jack. The other is Augie. I like to think I'm able to hide my surprise. I hope I do. Surprise is one of those emotions that can be hard to fake, though whether you're trying to look surprised when you're not, or you're not trying to not look surprised when you are. I think I messed that up. Whether you're trying to look surprised when you're not, or trying to not look surprised when you are. I shake his hand. I shake the other kid's hand. Don't want to focus on the face. Cool. Room, I say. You are Via's boyfriend, he says. I think he's smiling. Olivia pushes down his baseball cap. Is that a machine gun? The blonde kid asks. Like I haven't heard that one before. And we talk about Zydeco for a bit. And then Via takes me by the hand and leads me out of the room. As soon as we close the door behind us, we hear the laughing. I'm from Brooklyn, one of them sings. Olivia rolls her eyes and smiles. Let's go hang out in my room, she says. We've been dating for 2 months now. I knew from the moment I saw her, the minute she sat down at our table in the cafeteria, that I liked her. I couldn't keep my eyes off of her. She is really beautiful, with olive skin and the bluest eyes I've ever seen in my life. At first, she acted like she only wanted to be friends. I think she kind of gives off that vibe without even meaning to. Stay back. Don't come any closer. She doesn't flirt like the other girls do. She looks right in your eyes when she talks to you, like she's daring you. So I just kept looking right back at her eyes too, like I was daring her back. And then I asked her out and she said yes, which rocked. She's an awesome girl and I love hanging out with her. She didn't tell me about August until our 3rd date. I think she's used to the phrase, a craniofacial abnormality, to describe his face. Or maybe it was a craniofacial anomaly. I know the one word. She didn't use the word deformed, though, because the word would have registered, that word would have registered with me. So, what did you think? She asked me nervously the second we're out of our room. Into her room. Are you shocked? No, I lie. She smiles and looks away. You're shocked. I'm not, I assure her. He's just like what you said he'd be. She nods and plops down on her bed. Kind of cute how she still has stuffed animals on her bed. She takes one of them, a polar bear, without thinking about it and puts it in her lap. I sit down on a rolling chair by her desk. Her room is immaculate. When I was little, she says, there were lots of kids who never came back for a second play date. I mean, lots of kids. I even had one friend who wouldn't come to my birthday parties because he would be there. They never actually told me this, but it would get back to me. Some people just don't know how to deal with Augie, you know? I nod. It's not even like they know they're being mean, she adds. They're just scared. I mean, let's face it, his face is a little scary, right? I guess, I answer. But you're okay with it, she asks me sweetly. You're not too freaked out or scared. I'm not freaked out or scared, I smile. She nods and looks down at the polar bear in her lap. I can't tell whether she believes me or not, but then she gives the polar bear a kiss on the nose and tosses it to me with a little smile. I think that means she believes me, or at least she wants to. He writes very difficult to read, like little kids write.
Oh.
Like, so there's no capitals or punctuations, and so that's why it's a little bit harder to read. Valentine's Day. I give Olivia a heart necklace for Valentine's Day, and she gives me a messenger bag she made out of floppy disks. Very cool how she makes things like that. Earrings out of a piece of circuit board, dresses out of a t-shirt, bags out of old jeans. She's so creative. I tell her she should be an artist someday, but she wants to be a scientist, a geneticist, of all things. She wants to find cures for people like her brother, I guess. We make plans for me to finally meet her parents, a Mexican restaurant on Amherst Avenue near her house on Saturday night. All day long I'm nervous about it, and when I get nervous, my tics come out. I mean, my tics are always there, but they're not like they used to be when I was little. Nothing but a few hard blinks now, the occasional head pull. But when I'm stressed, they get worse, and I'm definitely stressing about meeting her folks. What are tics?
They're like that.
They're things that some people might do over and over again. And some people only do things like that when they're nervous. Like some people say or they may stutter, or they may move in a certain way, or they may blink their eyes a lot, or they may flip their arms, or they may flap their hands. Those are all tics. Those are things that you do maybe when you're feeling uneasy. When you're nervous, do you do that? Maybe? Oh, most people, I rub my legs like this when I get nervous. I don't even know I do it until someone told me that I did it, and then I realized, yeah, I do that. So that's what a tic is. He's saying that he has tics that he deals with all the time, but they're much worse when he is nervous. And that happens to a lot of people. They're waiting inside when I get to the restaurant. The dad gets up and shakes my hand, and the mom gives me a hug. I give Augie a hello fist bump and a kiss to Olivia on the cheek before I sit down. It's so nice to meet you, Justin. We've heard so much about you. Her parents couldn't be nicer. Put me right at ease. The waiter brings over menus, and I notice his expression the moment he lays eyes on August, but I pretend not to notice. I guess we're all pretending not to notice things tonight. The waiter, my tics, the way August crunches the tortilla chips on the table and spoons the crumbs into his mouth. I look at Olivia, and she smiles at me. She knows. She sees the waiter's face. She sees my tics. Olivia is a girl who sees everything. We spend the entire dinner talking and laughing. Olivia's parents ask me about my music, how I got into the fiddle and stuff like that. And I tell them about how I used to play classical violin, but I got into Appalachian folk music and then Zydeco, and they're listening to every word like they're really interested. They tell me to let them know the next time my band has a gig so that they can come listen. I'm not used to all the attention. To be truthful, My parents don't have a clue about what I do with my life. They never ask. We never talk. I don't think they even know I traded my Baroque violin for an 8-string hard anger fiddle 2 years ago. After dinner, we go back to Olivia's house for some ice cream. Their dog greets us at the door. An old dog, super sweet. She'd thrown up all over the hallway, though, and Olivia's mom rushes to get paper towels, while the dad picks up the old dog like a baby. "What's up, old girlie?" he says, and the dog's in heaven, tongue hanging out, tail wagging, legs in the air at awkward angles. "Dad, tell Justin how you got Daisy," says Olivia. "Yeah," says Augie. The dad smiles and sits down in the chair with the dog still cradled in his arms. It's obvious he's told the story lots of times, and they all love to hear it. "So I'm coming home from the subway one day," he says, "and a homeless guy I've never seen before in the neighborhood is pushing this floppy mutt in a stroller, and he comes up to me and says, 'Hey, mister, wanna buy a dog?' And without even thinking about it, I say, 'Sure, how much?' And he says $10. So I give him a 20 that I had in my wallet, and he hands me the dog. Justin, I'm telling you, you've never smelled anything so bad in your life. She stinks so much, I can't even tell you. So I took her straight from there to the vet down the street, and then I brought her home." "Didn't even call me first, by the way," the mom interjects as she cleans the floor, "to see if I'm okay with him bringing some homeless guy's dog home." The dog actually looks over at Mom when she says this, like she understands everything everyone is saying about her. She's a happy dog. She knows she's lucked out that day finding this family. I kind of know how she feels. I like Olivia's family. They laugh a lot. My family's not like this at all. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 4 and pretty much hate each other. I grew up spending half of every week in my dad's apartment in Chelsea and the other half in my mom's place in Brooklyn Heights. I have a half brother who's 5 years older than me, and he barely knows I exist. For as long as I can remember, I felt like my parents could hardly wait for me to be old enough to take care of myself. "You can go to the store by yourself. Here's the key to the apartment." It's funny how there's a word for overprotective to describe some parents, but there's no word that means the opposite. Ooh, opposites. That's what we're talking about this week. What word do you use to describe parents who don't protect enough? Underprotective?
Yeah.
Neglectful?
Yeah.
Self-involved?
Yeah.
Lame?
Yeah.
All the words above. Olivia's family tell each other I love you all the time. I can't remember the last time anyone in my family said that to me. By the time I go home, my tics have all stopped. The next chapter is 1 page, so I think I can get it in. It's called Our Town. Our Town is a play. If you guys are interested in knowing more about the play, you can look it up, I'm sure, on the internet. We're doing the play Our Town for the spring show this year. Olivia dares me to try out for the lead role, the stage manager, and somehow I get it. Total fluke. Never got any lead roles in anything before. I tell Olivia she brings me good luck. Unfortunately, she does not get the female lead role, Emily Gibbs. The pink-haired girl named Miranda gets it. Ooh, does that sound familiar?
Miranda.
Olivia gets a bit part and is also the Emily's understudy. So she's Miranda's understudy. I'm actually more disappointed than Olivia is. She almost seems relieved. I don't love people staring at me, she says, which is sort of strange coming from such a pretty girl. A part of me thinks maybe she blew her audition on purpose. The spring show is at the end of April. It's mid-March now. So that's less than 6 weeks to memorize my part, plus rehearsal time, plus practicing with my band, plus finals, plus spending time with Olivia. It's going to be a rough 6 weeks, that's for sure. Mr. Davenport, the drama teacher, is already manic about the whole thing. Will drive us crazy by the time it's over, no doubt. I heard through the grapevine that he'd been planning on doing something called the Elephant Man, but changed it to Our Town at the last minute. You're going to want to remember that for later in the story. They were going to do the play called The Elephant Man, but he changed it to Our Town the last minute. That'll come back up. And that took a week off of our scheduled rehearsals. Not looking forward to the craziness of the next month and a half. And that's the end. So, Our Town is a play. Who got the lead role of the play?
Olivia. No. Justin.
Justin. And did Olivia get the lead role?
No.
No. Who got the lead role?
Justin.
Who got the girl lead role?
Oh,
Miranda. Who's Miranda?
Via's friend that betrayed her.
Via's ex-best friend. So, what did Olivia get? Or Via?
Via, she got Miranda's understudy.
Understudy. Do you guys know what an understudy is?
No.
Okay, so when you're in a play,
Oh, yeah.
you have to memorize all your lines.
I know what an understudy is.
Good. So then, if something were to happen to you, you were to get sick, or fall down and break your arm, or fall down and break your arm, or whatever, you can't go, then the whole play would be canceled because you're the most important roles. So they have somebody learn your lines in case something happens to you. So the whole play wouldn't be canceled if something were to happen to you, to get sick or something. All right.
We got a new monitor.
We got a new monitor?
Yeah.
I don't see her. All right. Bye, boys and girls.